Greetings, everyone. This is Rock and Roll Spot Connection with the Weekly Comic Book Roundup. We've covered this week's X-Men books because there were a bunch. Now it's time to move on to this week's Star Wars books, as well as some less family defined, some random smatterings of Marvel books. Kicking things off, we've got Han Solo and Chewbacca number 2. Where we left off, Han, Chewie, and Greedo were on Corellia doing a job for Jabba the Hutt. They had managed to do a decent amount of recon, and afterwards Han went to a bar and was drinking, and an old guy sat down next to him. They started talking, and the guy claimed to be Han's father. And so we pick up. No, we open up years ago on Corellia. Han with his father at the shipyards. His dad telling him, he wanted Han to see the shipyard. Well, more of the ships than the shipyard. But adding that, and Han's dad going to say that, to tell Han not to build ships like him. He's meant for better. He's meant to fly the ships. In the present, Han pops the old man one. Basically, nice scam. He's out pulling himself, but and the guy's trying to prove that he is Han's father. Back on the Falcon, Han's, thinking about things while talking with, telling Chewie about what happened. The guy knows the name of Han's dad, even, so yeah. But, turns out that Han's intelligence gathering effort has caused the Mark to increase to higher private security. Though Han figures that private security is going to be their way in. He also gets a plasma torch from his father, and his father brings up, the time that he brought Han to the shipyard. And say exactly what his, that Han was meant to fly the ships, not build them. Which surprises Han. But, Han and Greedo steal some uniforms from the security crew. They're from the security company. They tell us to send it right up to the penthouse. But the lock, they're having a problem with the lock. Greedo's having trouble getting through the lock. Han calls dispatch. Things briefly get screwed up, but door gets unlocked. So Han and his father go in with Greedo as serving as lookout, and Han even telling Greedo, hey, don't touch anything. Back on Tatooine, Bib Fortuna is watching a couple Nuna fight when Marshal Vancto comes to see him. He's looking for Han Solo. But turns out that Bib Fortuna owes Vancto a favor. And even basically, threatens to drag Bib Fortuna back to Ryloth, but Bib states that Jabba would be displeased to hear that Bib had been take it back to Ryloth. He'd be even more displeased if Solo didn't complete the job he was hired for. But so Bank kind of says, "Okay, fine. Tell me, tell me where Solo is and what the job is." Back on Corellia, Han has a brief memory of the events from Solo, and he's given a holo of him and his dad when both of them were younger. They used the plasma torch that Han's father provided to break into the vault, while Chewie's arranging their getaway, and the vault's empty. And Han notices that Greedo has grabbed one of the things one of the various things on display in the penthouse, which has an MSX tracker, leading to more security showing up. Han opens the door to leave the penthouse and is faced with a whole bunch of security guards, shuts the door, and, well, they're stuck there, and that is where the issue ends. I'm really liking this mini. It's learning anything about Han Solo's father was something I never thought I would enjoy, but okay, yeah. Anyway, moving on to our next book, we've got Dr. Aphra, number 20. Where we left off, Dr. Aphra and the long-suffering son of Staros were at Beller's University, the college that they met at, in search of information on the Ascendancy, and also going after their former classmate, Kofon Ferris. We get some flashbacks to Ko and Aphra's time there. And they're given an assignment to translate the Ascendant's mantra from its original Urkitat into Galactic Basic. A literal translation, and the professor explains that a literal translation won't earn a passing grade. He wants his students to focus on intent and poeticism of the language. And then he even gives them the first verse. In the present, beneath the university, Ko and the professor are working on the ritual that will unlock the Spark Eternal. But the professor explains that they've got they have a third already because Aphra's there. Sana tries to fire on Ko and the professor, but yeah, to no avail. Especially when Ko uses her magnets to steal Sana's blaster. Aphra gets up there. Her and Ko fight over a thought dowser, and during all that, it seems the spark is unleashed, and Aphra goes for it, and it blows a hole through her chest, and she seems to die on the altar. However, Professor says, "Nah, this is one thing that should get interesting." As Aphra is seemingly brought back, possessed by the Spark Eternal, claiming she's no longer Aphra, she is Eternity. And that is where the issue ends. I am definitely I'm definitely enjoying the this current arc in Doctor Aphra. I've been I'm liking Doctor Aphra more than I thought I would. So yeah. But anyway, moving on to our next book, we've got Elektra, Black, White, and Blood, number 4, wrapping up the miniseries, which is probably good timing, seeing as how the most recent Black, White, and Blood miniseries started just last week. So we got 3 stories: Powers You Can't Comprehend by Matthew Rosenberg and Alberto Albuquerque, Assassin by Peach Momoko, and Rendezvous by Kevin Eastman and Freddie E. Williams. And if I remember correctly, yes, Kevin Eastman is that Kevin Eastman of Ninja Turtle fame. So, Powers You Can't Comprehend. Early on in Elektra's employment with the Kingpin, she's hired to kill someone, and she breaks into the guy's apartment and finds him passed out on his couch. Puts aside who's neck and asks who he is. Her target smashes a bottle on against her face and goes to run when Elektra tosses a sign to his back and drops his name, or at least his last name, Blaze. Yes, it's Johnny Blaze. She got sent after friggin' Ghost Rider by Kingpin. And Ghost Rider handed her ass. The thing is, the Kingpin had hired some of his own enforcers to make sure that Elektra did the job. If she didn't, to finish the job themselves and take care of her. Yeah, they don't finish. But Elektra returns to the Kingpin and says that, yeah, don't go after that guy again. And if you ever send people to follow me, yeah, here's the heads of the first batch you sent. And that's where our first story ends. Which brings us to Assassin, which is a Demon Days tale. So, Demon Days is has been a series of one-shots by Peach Momoko. I haven't actually... I've been reading them. They don't do anything for me, so... But Elektra's a wandering samurai. She faces some creatures, defeats them, and one of them had massive eyes, which she took and then sold to someone for get some coin. Of course, where she sold them to was likely not who he appeared to be. And the coin cheener is apparently nothing but leaves, and the town is gone. Meanwhile, I'm not entirely sure what kind of creature it is, but I want to say fox-looking creature is feasting on the eyes. Which brings us to our final tale for the issue, Rendezvous. So in this, Elektra, in her white costume, fights Elektra in her black costume. The two of them fight it out, with both of them say that they have a rendezvous with death. Blood is spilled. Blood is spilled between the two of them, and a pool of blood forms. And out of the pool of blood comes, Elektra in her red costume, as the heads of the other two explode. And that is where the series ends. I enjoyed this. This was fun. It was a good good mini. I keep saying the only one of the Black, White, and Blood minis I didn't enjoy that too much was the Carnage one. But Wolverine, Elektra, Deadpool, now Moon Knight, yeah. I mean, hey, they're not batting 1,000, but There's a pretty decent job, and even with the fact I didn't enjoy the Carnage one so much, there were still good story. There were still some stories I did enjoy. So Anyway, moving on to our next book, we've got Fantastic Four number 43, continuing Reckoning War. Finally, so where we left off, the Thing had been injured, and Reed Richards explained that the Watcher knowledge in his brain is basically causing his brain to melt in a day and a half. So we begin in Washington, D.C. The invading forces are attacking the nation's capital, and a squad of soldiers led by the hero Gauntlet is doing what they can to hold them off. But one of the a non-Badoon shows up and takes Gauntlet's gauntlet. Then is sent to for more of the Alpha Omega armor. This warrior is then sent to Milwaukee, where he faces off against the Great Lakes Avengers, and because Grasshopper, the lower portion of Grasshopper's armor, is in fact the next part of the armor. And he states that none of the Great Lakes Avengers were unbeatable, which he says while standing over Squirrel Girl. Then he gets the left gauntlet in North Carolina, facing off against the hero of Southpaw. Then to the Florida Everglades for the next part, where the warrior faces to go off. Well, not to attack the Gon. He goes after, but he ends up face to face with Doctor Doom. The Baxter Building is under Reckoning control. The Forever Gate is being set to basically depower. The Reckoning, high-ranking member of Reckoning goes through it after explaining his plan to the Fantastic Kids, but Valeria and Franklin go through after him, and then the gate closes. In the Barrens, Reed basically explains to Ben that they're stuck there. Doom is going up against Cormorant. Apparently they faced each other before. And that time Doom kept his distance. But Doom explains he did so he could study the Cormorant. But Doom knows of the First War. The Reckoning's battle fleet is headed towards the Watcher's home world. Uatu, meanwhile, is being kept on the prison of Darkenda, being forced to watch what would have happened had he not interfered the various times he has. Namely, we're shown what would have happened had he not interfered when Galactus came to Earth. Basically, that Reed Richards would have found a way to stop Galactus on his own, but their zero energy generator would have ended up destroying the planet. So he did the right thing. Meanwhile, however, Nick Fury is trying to free Uatu. And Invisible Woman takes down one of the Watchers that went to safeguard the Apex, which Uatu explains is it resides above the nexus points, gateway to every possibility, any what-if world you could imagine. But When the Brazilians arrive, the Watchers are ready. They attack, but it seems to do them no good. Um, in free space, deep in space, Johnny Storm recruits an army to go up against the Reckoning, consisting of the Guardians, Starjammers, the Unparalleled, various Heralds of Galactus, the Shi'ar, the Kree, and the Skrulls. Hell, even Thor and Beta Ray Bill are there. But they're taking the fight to the Reckoning. Doom explains that he's been on the defensive against the Cormorant because knowing that he's communicating with someone, and will try to trace the source of it and summon who the person he's communicating with to him, which Doom does, injuring him and taking the control helmet, which he gives to the Cormorant. Basically, kind of, hey, here, have this. Fight by my side, be my ally, and together we can win the Reckoning War. And that is where the issue ends. I'm fairly certain I've stated this before, probably with everything from Reckoning War, but I'm not usually a big Fantastic Four fan, but I am enjoying this story. Even though I feel like this is a story that should have been bigger. But moving on to our final book for now, for the moment, we have Iron Fist number 3. Where we left off, Lin Lei, the new Iron Fist, formerly Swordmaster, was working on learning the ways of the Iron Fist, even though he already has the fist. We open with a flashback to Shanghai many years ago. Lin Lei trying to break into his father's office with his brother, explaining that he stole the keys, and they look around at the office, and their father's on an archaeological trip, or expedition, and but one of the first one, Cheerio, the Dark Destroyer, God of War, has opened, and it seems that one of those within is, in fact, Lin Lei's brother. Back in Kunlun, the shards of the sword are burning throughout Lin Lei's arms, and the energy from them seems to be guiding him somewhere. He follows it over to Mei Min's house, however. At the end of the first issue, her father apparently became possessed by one of the agents of Cheerio, and he's trying to open the puzzle box and contains the shards of the sword. So he can transform into a demon. But a fight occurs, and the demon seems to get the upper hand. But and then Lei opens the puzzle box that has the shards of the sword. Basically, you want the shards, you gotta come and get them, and he slams them into his arms. But the demon is defeated, and Lin Lei's brother passes along a message to Lin Lei through the dying demon. After Lin Lei has since found the empty scabbard of Swordmaster's sword. And so, Lin Lei, Mei Min, and What was that guy, asshole's name? But the two of them plus Yang Yi use a teleportation portal to go to an undisclosed location in China, where they appear to find a lot of spiders. Mainly because two of the immortal weapons are there: Fat Cobra and Bride of Nine spiders. And that is where the issue ends. I'm enjoying the new Iron Fist mini, and I'm looking forward to seeing how the whole thing plays out. I'm a little perturbed that the second issue showed Danny Rand on the cover with Lindley. I thought we'd actually get to see them, fighting side by side, but apparently not. Anyway, that's going to do it for now. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Links to my Facebook, Twitter, Patreon, and PayPal can be found in the description box down below. This is Rock and Roll Spock signing off, saying, live long and rock hard.